Searcy, our very special guest, a friend of Jodi Arias, and knew Travis Alexander as well. A lot of people are saying this defense of degradation is a crock. You spent time with Jodi and Travis. Did you ever see anything with your own eyes at all that would indicate that Travis had a temper, that Travis could have been possibly abusive or not?
Yes. What happened was I happened to be coincidentally in Las Vegas. I was speaking at a briefing in the local market there, and I got a call from Jodi, and she was very upset. She had had a fight with Travis. He had threatened her in some way, didn't get into detail of what, and she didn't know what to do. And I said, look, I'm only a couple hours away. Why don't you come to Las Vegas? You can spend a couple days in the motorhome, calm down. And so she came, and when she was there in the motorhome, we had been talking about stuff, and the phone rang, and you could see on the phone, I actually bought her this phone, ironically, because it's the phone that did the recording, and that Helios had that ability to record calls. And it was Travis on the line, and when she was talking to him, she was trying to kind of get off the phone with him, and you could hear him yell. He goes, "Damn it, Jodi," and when he yelled at her like that, she like ducked like she was ducking a bullet. And then she looked at me, she got embarrassed, and that's when she went outside and talked with him for about a half an hour, and then she came back in and she was crying and shaking.
She was shaking and crying, and she has testified that she would often shake like a chihuahua. And I have a couple of chihuahuas, so people always say, "Oh, I think of you" when we hear that soundbite. No, but she would say that she was shaking like a chihuahua, and as this relationship kept deteriorating, she seemed to almost be on the verge of some kind of mental breakdown. Let's hear that sound, and then we're going to debate it. Is this a bunch of nonsense, or is there some validity to it? Listen to this.
If he were to get mad at you, you would shake.
Yes, it was like my nerves, kind of like how a chihuahua shakes. You know, they just kind of tremble a little bit.
All right, expert panel. We'll start with Janie Weintraub. I mean, some people are saying this is a crock. Now, you heard that they had an argument that Gus overheard, but if anybody here hasn't had an argument with the person they're dating, please raise their hand. Okay, nobody is raising their hand. Start with Janie Weintraub.
I'm not going to answer that question, but I will tell you, I'll take the fifth. But as far as whether or not Travis was witnessed being abusive, you know, Jane, the battered wife syndrome is around because people don't do that in front of other people. We don't know, unless Jodi tells us, how she was feeling, how she was controlled. You know, it's easy for us to sit back on the other side of a lens and say, why didn't you walk out? Why didn't you just leave him? But the truth is, it is a valid defense based on evidence. And we have not heard all of the evidence. What we do know is that Travis was obviously leading a double life. We're not sitting here to be disparaging to Travis. This is her life. This is what she has told her lawyers. She is on trial for murder. Something happened there, and we don't know yet what it was. But we do know.
You know what's interesting, Wendy Murphy, is that Janie Weintraub started out as being on the prosecution side of these panels, and she flipped. Could jurors be flipping, Wendy Murphy?
Well, I got to take Janie out for a drink. I'm going to fix her up good. No, they're not going to flip. Look, they're being distracted, titillated. It's a big fat red herring, all this sex talk. You know, it gets people unfocused, and that is the purpose of the defense. When the case is really strong, the defense needs a big distraction. But make no mistake about it, when the prosecution has its turn, and by the way, they're not objecting to all the leading questions. 90% of the defense questions are leading. It's so objectionable, but they're letting it go because they want this to end. They can't wait to get up and play the other parts of the tapes where Jodi will be the sexual aggressor. It'll be clear that Jodi is the one making this guy feel these things, do these things.
All right.
She's the seductress, not him. We haven't heard the rest of the tapes.